How's your
Yeah.
filming going with your movie?
It's going great. Again, I said before, Lisa makes a great cameo, and I think there's a little bit more she's gonna do. And
Oh
she's,
yeah, I'm
she's
playing a white supremacist, Randy. It's awesome.
That's
My first
exciting.
time, and I'm embracing this role, man. I'm like,
Yeah.
I took it and ran with it. I did.
yeah,
Well,
I envisioned a whole character, had a backstory in the head, and
good.
then executing my friend. Yeah, I
that's
was like, say
awesome.
no more, say no more.
Yeah.
I got it.
What's
Yeah,
what's it called? Are you allowed to say the name of it yet or no?
Right now the working title is Motorcycle Mafia Cheesecake, and again, it is supposed to be
That's
what it
fantastic.
sounds like, over the
Yeah.
top, kind of like an ode to Guy Ritchie's movies. And
Okay.
I'll definitely try to make people laugh with this. And, we had some crazy stuff where like Lisa did some footage and we green schemed and we came up with some crazy funny ideas with that. And it's like, that's
yeah,
what I'm doing. I'm trying to, it's kind of like more of a gangster movie, whatever, but it's also like I'm trying to have a lot of fun with it. And anybody who shows up or wants to be in it, I'm like, let's just have fun and make people laugh. And there is a horror part. I don't want to reveal too much, but there is
Right.
a little bit of a horror subplot, which again, I'm just still, that's the biggest thing. I'm like, how do I pull up this horror part? And but yeah, it's been incredible. Like I was saying before, I've been doing this for 24 years and I've made 7 of my own movies, and Season in Hell is on Amazon somewhere, and I'm trying to get that onto Shutter. So it's been great though, but this one is like very weird. It's like just happening very organically, and it's been incredible. Everybody's just been really a game and amazing, and it's a lot of first timers that are just like, holy shit, they're better than half the actresses I've had to work with. It's like,
that's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I
it's
like your
really
music videos. I'm a big fan of your music videos too, you
Thank
know?
you.
Yeah. I don't know if you've seen any of them, Randy.
I don't think I have. I mean, I may have.
They're
I don't
out there. I
know.
got a lot of
Yeah.
stuff out there.
It's fun when it's with people that actually give a shit, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first time I did independent film, it was a bunch of people that they were like, "Oh, we're on board," and then they got there and then they weren't on board. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like everybody was trying to do their own thing. And the second movie we did, I wrote the script for, and we stuck right to the script, and everybody that was there was on board with it. And it's a lot more fun when you have an actual collaboration, you know?
Yeah,
So
that's awesome. That's
yeah.
awesome. Yeah. And it's amazing to me what greatness can come from sometimes from like low budget movies.
Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah.
we watched Clerks, and I haven't seen that for such a long time. But like, here's this movie that was so simple, no big actors, you know what I mean? And it was very cheaply shot. And this guy, basically sprung his whole career. And yeah, you could say he's a bit of a sellout, but who wouldn't be for that kind of money? You know what I
Right.
mean? So I was just thinking about that the other day because it was on, and I was like, I love this movie, and it's so perfect because it's so simple. It
Have you
doesn't
guys
twist
have you
upon itself.
guys seen the third Clerks movie?
I
Yeah, I
haven't.
just saw it. I thought he bought
It's
I'm in the Highlands where he's from. He bought the theater up the street, so I've
oh cool.
I've gone to see him do 3 Q&As, and it's cool because he walks right in. And I never get to talk to him, which I want to, but he
Right.
comes right in and he talks. And yeah, so I saw Clerks 3. It's pretty cool seeing it with him.
Yeah, it's
Is it
great.
good?
Lisa,
Yeah,
if you love Clerks 1,
I
Clerks 2
do.
is good, but Clerks 3 is the end piece to Clerks 1 and 3
Now, is that
are
the one
perfect.
that has the original cast? Is that
Yeah.
because I know
Yeah,
there's
everybody's
okay,
back
that's the one
basically.
where I
Yeah.
was like, oh my God, that's so cool that they have the original cast in it. Now,
It
the second one I thought was really funny too. The
right,
sex
it's
nonsense,
funny.
it was hilarious. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
But
yeah.
Clerks 3 is like it's emotional like cuz
Yeah, it does. It gets
yeah.
it gets heavy.
And Elliot, if I could tell you one other thing too, I'm a big Kevin Smith fan. I love
Yeah,
the
me
guy.
too.
And I sent him a copy of one of my first books. But I
Wow.
didn't. I wasn't able to get him like an address for him. But I
Wow.
I got the comic book store that he owns, and I
Okay.
sent it there in care of Kevin Smith. I don't know if he ever got it, but it's
You
always
never
That's
know.
hilarious
You
for me
never
to
know.
tell.
He
cool. That's really cool. That's
Yeah,
awesome. I
he
love that.
talks about that
Yeah.
stuff. He's very open, like hands
yeah,
up. When I've been there, people have given him stuff, and he's always very moved by stuff. So,
yeah.
hopefully he got it.
I wrote, like a little message to him, and then the rest of the guys, because I used to watch the show on AMC, so I knew
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
all the guys
That's
on
so
there.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. But see, I mean, something so, like you would say low budget and it sprung forth his whole career, I love that.
yeah.
had the dream of making a movie, but I could never execute it, you know? Maybe just limitations within myself, not knowing people. So that's why, you know, like when Elliot was like, will you do this? I was like, hell yeah, white supremacist, sign me up, you know, like, you know, like,
You're
yes.
great. You're great.
Like, yeah, like having that outlet is so much fun because if you're a person who loves movies like me, you know, it's
Yeah.
like so much fun just to kind of be campy and cheesy and be a part of something, you know?
I've got this idea. I really want to put on a stage production. I've
Oh,
always
I
wanted to do
love
it,
it. I
Yeah.
but
love it.
I don't have the there's a lot into it. You know, you guys
Yeah.
probably know. It's you start digging in and you're like, I don't know if I can do this. You know, like it's from everything from renting the facility you're going to need to making sure whatever, because I have an idea for taking an old story and putting in modern times.
I
Yeah.
love it.
I don't want to tell too much because it's
No,
my
no,
idea,
no.
but it's like, plus you want to make sure that you're not doing any copyright stuff. You
Right, right.
then there's like the actors and dealing with actors in general. You're like, you get people that are interested and then they don't call you back. Or in my case, like the money, the capital it would take to set it up front too. For a venue, you have to have insurance. So
Right, right. Yeah,
yeah.
there's a lot of working parts to it, but I love the idea of it. You
Right.
know, theater is such a great outlet, you know, it really is.
Right. But
Yeah,
I'd love to, that's like on my bucket list of things. If I could just do even just one show, one night, done and done, just to say I did it,
You
that's
should do
something I'd
it.
like to. Yeah, I'm
I mean,
going.
I don't know how I'm doing. Again, my thing to anybody is like, I don't even like the greats don't have everything figured out unless you're working for a studio where you have a lot of money. But it's like
Right.
this time around, I've been doing it professionally on indies and Warner Brothers lots for like 19 years. And so now this time around, it's my seventh time, eighth time doing it. And it all started up so organically 3 weeks ago with talking to a friend. And then I started, so it's like, there's parts of me is like, oh yeah, I'm doing these things now that years ago I've been freaking out about, but it's
Right.
all become subconscious because you just, I'm used to doing it and I'm with friends that have been doing it now my whole life, or like Lisa, I know. And like, so that's a lot of it. And then there's other stuff. I'm like, oh shit, how do I do that? And now at the same time, it's part of the process. You kind of figure it out. And I think it's a weird thing, like, especially with this, is like, once you decide you want to do it, it's weird. People in
Yeah.
the universe start to respond to it. So I think if you just write it, I think things will fall into place.
Thank you. That's what I'm working on it right now. I'm working on my next collection of short stories and then this in my other spare time. So
That's awesome.
I'm hoping to have something. I'm trying to buy a house in this coming year, which has been a freaking nightmare. But once I get that done, then that's going to be my next thing. So probably 2024 is what I'm shooting for, to
cool,
try
man.
to
look
get
at you
something like that.
plan, Randy. That's so sweet. Look at
That's
Yeah.
you.
awesome, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I know some
So,
ladies who would marry your ass right up talking like that.
well, let's give them all my information.
I was gonna say, I know girls scoop you up so quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's like,
What they're planning. Yeah. Your boys, oh, I'm gonna buy me a house. Listen to you, huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
Girls are gonna come loving that. Let me tell you, that's sweet. That says a
Well,
lot about your character, though. I love that. I love that you're always doing something creative, both of you. That you're always putting out
Thank
something creative. That's something I
thanks.
lack a lot of in my life that I wish that I could do more of, and I just don't for whatever reason. And I really want to do because I think it was like Stephen King or something who I heard that like he said he wakes up every day and writes one page, regardless of what
Mhm.
he does, even if it's just nonsense,
Yep.
Yeah.
but just to put out something creative. And then later he looks at it, and sometimes his ideas will spring forth from just those, whatever doodles or whatever.
It's
So I love
exactly right.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's such a great idea. I have so many great ideas in my head. I just never execute.
I went to a book signing once. I met Walter Mosley. You guys familiar
Oh,
with him?
wow. How
Yeah.
cool.
And yeah, he was as cool as you can imagine. That's how cool he was. And
That's amazing.
I had
Yeah.
this great story. I told him one of his books is called Gone Fishing. It's a Easy Rollins mystery novel.
Oh, okay.
I've read all of them. I love that character. But I gave it to him to have him sign it for my uncle, who actually got me into reading him. And I said, my uncle thought this book was about fishing because of the title, and that's why he bought it. I swear to hand to God. And he's like, he started laughing. He thought it was hilarious, and he signed it to him. And then I said, I write in my spare time. This was about 15 years ago. And I said, what can you give me any advice as to what to do? Because I really want to publish a book. I don't know if anybody will read it, but he said the same thing. He said, every morning, write 10, 10, 15 words, if that's all you got, a page, if that's what you got, just put pen to paper every
Right.
day. And he goes,
Right.
by the end of the month, you'll have something and you can go through it and make it into something else. And he's like,
Right.
that's what I do.
Right.
And I said, okay.
Love
So
that.
that's
Love
what I
that.
started doing. So every day I try to write a little,
I love that. That's such a cool thing. Yeah. Both you and Elliot. Yeah, that's cool,
Yeah.
man.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
It's,
like
thank
I
you.
mean, I know we've gone forever, but yeah, like again,
Yeah.
this thing just to wrap is like, yeah, this movie I'm doing now, I've written this. I've written versions of this to do my own way for the last 20 years. And there's parts
Right.
of it I've just talked about. So it's weird, like again, just doing that little bit every day, no matter what you want to do, whether it's writing, drawing, comic books, writing a book. It's like just
Yeah.
doing a little bit of that. Again, I wrote so many different scripts that were parts of what I'm doing now and they never went anywhere. But now I'm like, oh wow, now suddenly it's all coming, and I'm like, oh cool, that's right. I kind of now have this part of the story already down because it wasn't a script that didn't go anywhere, but I can still use that, and some things are familiar, and it's like again, it's like that muscle, you know. You always just, you
Right.
can't think of the end again product, so to speak. I think that's what a lot of people. I have so many talented people in my life, and like you guys too. And it's like a lot of people say, like, "Well, I don't know how to do this, and what'll happen here?" It's like you just you can't think about the end of the road because right now, in every movie I've done, and even movies I've worked on, you just have to do it, and things will change no matter what you're working on with your art, and it's just that's the journey. You just have to go. Okay, things might change, and like shit, that just happened, roadblock, but I think
Yeah.
all those will eventually get you to that where you want to be with it, and I think that's part of it. That's part of the journey.
I agree, man. That's the best feeling in the world is when you finally click on something. You've been
Yeah,
working on it on and off. I mean, 20 years. I'm with you. I've got short stories in a drawer I could show you
hey,
from
yeah,
high school that I
That's
was like, that's
awesome.
shit. I'm never going to do anything with it. But when you start clicking, you're like, this is it.
yeah,
Yeah, and it's amazing feeling. So
yeah.
I get that.
So keep
So,
going, keep going.
yeah, you guys too. So I'm excited to see what you're doing. So
Thank you. Yeah, it's off to a great start. I got it. I'm really really happy, and yeah, it's getting bigger by the day. So I just gotta keep the reins on it. That's it.
there you go. Yeah. Wrangle all the people involved. It's a
Right.
Yeah,
nightmare.
that's
There's
it. But
nothing worse than
yeah,
having
it's like
a bunch of
we
people
talk
you
about
have to get a
everything
hold
tank girl. It's like all these things
of.
in a perfect world we could all make what we want to make. But to make movies in the world we live in, we have to have people involved that are not artists. And whether it's independent or studios, like you always have, that's what kills it all. And that's why I'm having a great time doing this movie where I'm like, it's for me, it's with people I want to make movies with, it's with friends. And that's the beauty. And you don't find that, again, whether we're talking Tank Girl or we're talking whatever, these movies are all made by people that are doing it for a living. So they don't care about that independent film we just watched. And Winnie the Pooh, that guy might have had one idea and said, oh, it's, who knows? But like the people he hired to do that movie might have hated making that movie, but their friend who's a grip or an electric got the call and said, hey, you want to work on this weird movie? And that's sadly a part of it a lot where you don't always have that crew making a movie that is passionate about it. And I think that comes out in some movies that we watch that were like, man, this could have been so good, but some people
Right.
involved were not passionate for it.
That's why I love when I hear about people that like working together in Hollywood that continue to work together,
Yeah.
like the Apatow crew, and then you've got
Yeah.
like the Adam Sandler crew.
Yeah.
Those guys
I just
love working together. So
watch Christopher Guest, Best in Show, and then I'm gonna watch
yeah,
Waiting for Guffin because I love all the Christopher Guest movies, and it
right.
starts with Spinal Tap, of course, but I love that he uses the original cast in all of them, and anyway, Best in Show is like one of my favorite ones ever.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just
it's
love that movie.
perfect example. Those people love working together. They're like a
Yeah, and to
family,
me that makes it such a great movie because they play off each other so organically, and I think that's a
Exactly.
huge part
Yeah,
of it.
and guys like we grew up with, like John Hughes, did that.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
He found talented people and he said, "These are my guys and girls, and that's
yeah.
what it's gonna do." So
Yeah, I love me
so
some John Hughes movies. Oh my God, he was so cute. I would have dated him. He was adorable. Yeah,
It's
so
crazy
cute.
too.
Like
I
I didn't
just
know he was so cute. I love his little '80s look with his little sneakers and his little suit. It's like eating that up.
it's
Little
crazy.
80s
He
look.
just left. He just did
yeah,
Hollywood again, like we've been talking about from Tank Girl to right now. What we're talking about is Hollywood in the big picture can kill your spirit, and that's what sounds like it happened with him, where he disappeared, and all those guys were waiting. Ferris Bueller, you name it, we're still hoping one day he would call them from the Midwest, and
yeah,
and they said he actually was writing, but he just it's like those last couple movies he did for Hollywood, like really just took it out of him and said it wasn't fun for him anymore.
Well,
Right.
that's a
And
shame. Yeah.
if it's not fun, and you've got money, see the whole point, right,
Yeah.
is to break into it and make the money so you can do what you want. Then if you get to the point where it's not fun anymore, why would
Why
you
would you
continue?
bother? Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
uh,
Crazy.
but I'm doing pretty well at my office job, so they hate me there, so it's fantastic.
Oh,
What do
that's
you do,
cool.
Randy? What do you do? Can I ask? What do you
Oh
do?
yeah, I work for a financial company. We own a bunch of like short-term loan companies,
Oh
Oh,
and
wow.
I investigate fraud. So people come in and
you
cash
do
our
that? Oh my
yeah.
gosh. Wow.
So
That's
I'm
good
That's
to
basically
know.
I'm a
awesome.
narc. I write reports all day that are like so and so came into our store and cashed these bad checks, and
So
uh,
you most
Wow.
likely wrote one about my parents then. Okay, cool.
I most likely wrote one about everybody I know's parents, and then maybe some of my
Yeah,
family. So.
man. Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
That's
all those
fun.
reports, financial companies have to keep a report with the government, every month for all these transactions that have criteria. And so
Wow.
if somebody comes in and
How
cashes
do
like,
you go apart investigating? I mean, what do you do to investigate just out of curiosity? Do you look at
well,
social media? Do you look at their,
I pull,
actions?
so I get I can get their credit reports, their crime history,
Oh,
like
wow.
police
Okay.
reports, our system. So when they come into our stores, they have to create a profile. So they give us a bunch of information up front. We scan all their documents that they're using to get a loan or cash a check or whatever.
Okay.
And I
Wow.
take that information and I go, okay, Western Union, they used it a bunch of times. And I look at the Western Union tracker and say,
Wow.
okay, they've done this. They're in this city, and then I kind of Google a search and see some things, and then I have my boss pull credit bureau stuff and kind of
Wow.
connect all the dots.
That's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. Have you ever
So
investigated anybody you know?
no, nobody I know. If see, there's an
That'd be good
ethics thing
stuff.
involved in this kind of stuff too. If I came across somebody that was from my hometown, I would have to call my boss and say, "Hey, I
Oh
can't work
wow.
on this one."
Gotcha. Okay.
Because
Okay.
FBI, these go to the FBI and anti-money laundering companies,
Wow.
that
Yeah.
handle
Yeah.
that stuff. So you can't screw around too much, like
Right.
there are a lot
Right.
of rigid laws you have to. But
Wow.
it's
What
a
a
fun job
job.
because every day there's something different. I don't
Something
have a
different,
Right.
yeah.
yeah,
Well,
but
Yeah.
no,
That's
you got some good material there though, man. You gotta write like a Coen Brothers movie.
right.
Yeah,
I
good crime
started
noir there.
I started in collections with this company 15 years ago. I would call people up that
wow.
had bad checks, like they wrote, so they got a short-term loan, left us a check, and then it bounced. And back in the early 2000s, you could say whatever you wanted in Ohio to because it was pretty Republican around here. It still is, but you could go like, "Hey, get in the store today, or we're going to take you to court," and stuff like that. so,
Wow,
Wow.
that's
so
crazy. Wow. They have a
I
movie
was
about one of those, Robin Williams movie where he doesn't play it. This other kid, Giovanni Ripsky's in it, and he plays the investigator. And
yeah.
his brother is the guy from what is it, Natural Born Killers? I can't think of his name. Woody Harrelson.
Oh
And
yeah,
yeah, it's a great movie. But that's
I
if I'm not mistaken, that's what the kid does. He's like an insurance fraud investigator or something.
Huh.
It's something like
could
that. Yeah.
could be,
But yeah,
yeah.
that's so cool. What a weird job.
And then
Wow.
also before that, I did skip tracing, which is people skip out on loans, and
Yeah,
Yeah.
then
yeah.
you
Wow.
find them and get them to a collector or
You
gun
gotta write a
associated.
book. You got a crime novel in
Yeah,
you,
Randy's
or
a
a
bit of a
screenplay,
guy.
crime
Yeah.
noir screenplay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow,
I
Randy.
I love that stuff, but I've never went to the well for it because I work in the industry. I don't know how
Yeah.
mad some people would get because there are some stories I could tell you. I could talk all night. I could tell you stories that you guys would not believe. Like people
Oh man!
went to Mexico to avoid paying their student loans back and stuff.
Wow.
So yeah,
Wow, that's
and they
crazy.
were doctors. Like these aren't like regular. Like these are like I run a hospital in Mexico and I didn't pay my student loan for $150,000. So
Wow.
That's
That's
crazy.
and then I've had people threaten to kill me. Yeah, when you're a bill collector, people don't like you
yeah, I
generally.
No, I'm
know.
sure.
So I've had death threats. We used to use aliases back in the day too. I could tell you a couple of mine. Since you guys are movie and TV fans, you'll like these. My first alias was Ted Mosby, which after a while, I wasn't allowed to use it anymore because we had a Ted that worked in our department, and people would call in and yell at him.
That's
So,
hilarious. God damn it,
and,
Ted.
and then later I changed it to Ezekiel Rollins.
Oh my God. You
And
really said that. Oh my
yeah,
God.
and then people would be like, "That's not your name," and I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I'll tell my mother that." Anyways, back to what you were doing.
It's so funny.
Dude, you got a Fargo. It sounds like you have a
Oh,
Fargo script
sorry.
in you from all that experience. Some kind of Fargo thriller.
Yeah, I mean, and then people that work in that industry are characters, man. I
I'm
mean,
sure. Yeah.
I used to be a character. Now I'm just an old man that's tired.
No,
But
no.
but there's some characters I've seen people get busted for selling drugs on our collections floor. I've seen people fake
Wow.
heart attacks to go home early because they didn't want to be
Oh
there.
What a weird dude. You got a whole world you can write about.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fascinating.
So, but anyways, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hijack your.
No, that's
your
it.
Yeah,
That's
that's
amazing. Though. That's
fascinating. Yeah,
amazing.
we're into Randy's story here. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Who
So,
knew? Who
Cool.
knew?
yeah.
Wow.
So that's my day job. But if I could quit it to write, you guys can guarantee that's all I would do. So
Of
that's
course.
that's my love.
Sure.
Yeah.